My boyfriend works at a small factory in town. His name is Kevin, and he's 2 years younger than me. It was he who helped me up when my bike got knocked over on a strong windy day. My father is the CEO, and he introduced me as his precious daughter to many men over dinner at that time. None of them even slightly touched my heart. Dad has no sense in choosing men. I complained to my mom.
I hope your Prince Charming will appear soon.
She encouraged me so. It was very much obvious that people were nice to me just because of my status, the daughter of a CEO. Therefore, when my father introduced men to me, I felt that their attentions were mostly upon my father rather than me, and I couldn't trust any of them. I understand. I'm a CEO's son too. It's a tough life, isn't it? Said the young heir with a knowing smirk. Really, I've never felt hardship. I got everything I wanted and was taken everywhere. If there's one hardship, it's this matchmaking, I responded. When I said that, they always turned into a pissed-off mode, probably thinking they couldn't handle such an arrogant, condescending daughter. But some were desperate to gain power by acquiring me. Those guys were quite tough. They wouldn't back down even after my polite refusal. If only they put that effort and passion into their work. When I hear about their reputation in their company, it's never good. That's why I felt it was fate when I met Kevin. He didn't know my status or power. I believe his kindness in naturally helping out a person in need in front of him must surely be genuine. Here's your lunch, Kevin. When lunchtime comes around, I sneak out of the office and deliver his lunchbox to the factory far away from my office.
Isn't it a hassle? Your office is so far away.
No, it's fine. Look, I've got my e-bike, which makes the travel easy. Plus, it's good for my diet. I was lying. Every day I've been getting a chauffeur to take me this far. Of course, I'm paying him out of my own pocket as a tip. But it's all a secret. I'm supposedly just an ordinary employee at a small company, cycling every day to deliver lunch. I'm keeping my status concealed because I want Kevin to always see me for who I am.
By the way, are you free this weekend? One of my senior co-workers gave me movie tickets.
What? I'm in. My heart leapt at the sudden date, and I arrived at the car parked about 10 minutes walk from the factory in no time.
Welcome back, miss. You're in a good mood.
We just set up a date for the weekend. As I buckled up, the car started moving.
You park so far from the factory every day. Isn't it about time you revealed your identity?
No, absolutely not. I wonder how Kevin would react if he found out I was riding in a luxury car with a chauffeur. I recalled a few of my matchmaking partners. Those guys who snort and breathe heavily, talking too closely.
Don't worry, Kevin will surely take good care of you, miss.
That might be true, but if he ever finds me annoying, and the reason he bears with me has anything to do with my status, I don't want that.
If you think that way, you can't truly connect with anyone.
Through the rearview mirror, I could see the chauffeur furrowing his brows. When I returned to the office and checked my planner, I had a family dinner scheduled for Saturday. It's no big deal. I can just say I have work. I hurriedly emailed Kevin that I'm free both Saturday and Sunday.
What? That's not possible.
When I told my family I couldn't make it for dinner as the date was fixed for Saturday, my mom furrowed her brow.
You know I've already made the reservation at the restaurant, right? Even the owner is looking forward to it.
April, it's already just 2 days before the reservation. You can't just do such a last-minute cancellation. Jake, who is my brother, chimed in to support Mom. Anyway, we're having the dinner party on Saturday. Got it. Dad also emphasized his point. Well, it's fine. Dinner is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. I can watch the movie in the morning, have lunch, and then wander around. There's plenty of time. All right, I'll contact you when I'm on my way to the restaurant. Why do plans always seem to pile up? I feel disheartened by my own bad luck. On the day of the date, I put on a tight skirt with a lot of gusto. Kevin and I have been dating for 6 months, but we've never even held hands. A kiss is out of the question. There have been several times when I tried to hold his hand, but he always quickly avoided it. He seems to be incredibly shy. Even though there's not much difference in age, I want to take the lead as the older one, but I'm also inexperienced in love. Sorry to keep you waiting. When I arrived at the meeting place 5 minutes early, Kevin was already waiting.
Did you bike here today too?
No, I didn't drive. I mean, I took the subway.
I see. It must have been crowded, wasn't it? I couldn't even get a seat.
Me too. The subway on weekends can be so frustrating. I said it even though I barely ever ride the subway. Ever since the chauffeur told me, every little lie I tell makes my chest hurt. If only I could just say it.
Are you okay?
Sorry. I was just lost in thought. As his anxious face peered into mine, I could see he was just my type.
I see. You had a very serious look on your face. Let's go in.
When we stepped into our familiar movie theater, an incident occurred that forced me to confess my lie.
April, what are you doing here? Don't you have work?
Of all things, Jake had also come to watch a movie.
Huh, you had work today.
Upon learning of my lie, Kevin looked at his wristwatch.
What should we do? The movie is about to start. Should we do it another time?
No, it's okay. I don't have work. Jake seemed to realize we were a couple and said, "Hey there, boyfriend. We're having a family dinner tonight. You should definitely come," he blurted out. Jake, if I did that, all my lies would be exposed. No, I can't introduce him to my family.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We just started dating.
Kevin clearly looked disappointed. Oh no, that's not it. It's not that I don't want to introduce Kevin to my family. There's a complicated reason for this. The unspeakable reason is slowly choking me.
Oh, come on, don't be so stiff. It's not a formal dinner. In fact, our parents will be thrilled to have April's boyfriend join us.
I realized then that Jake was up to something bad. Whenever he was up to something, his nostrils would flare up, as they always have. Even so, I couldn't bear to see Kevin's sad face anymore, so I agreed to bring him to dinner. When I brought Kevin to the dinner party, my dad became noticeably displeased. It was understandable. After all, I had been rejecting all the suitors he had enthusiastically chosen for and introduced to me, and the one I brought was just a factory worker in a small town.
So, how much is your monthly income? Well, I'm asking this as I'm entrusting my precious daughter to you, so it's only right to ask, isn't it?
Dad, please stop it.
I take home about $1,700 a month.
My brother Jake choked on his tea, then glanced at Kevin and shrugged. Too little. That's probably what he wanted to say, but for a small-town factory, he was actually getting decent pay. It may be less compared to a tycoon's son, but...
Well, you'll get tired of him eventually.
Jake.
It's just that you and April are from different worlds. And not just in terms of your upbringings.
I don't care about that.
I wonder what a person who bosses the chauffeur around every day is saying.
Chauffeur. Kevin tilted his head in confusion. Both my dad and Jake only belittled him whenever they opened their mouths. Yet, Kevin handled it gracefully. His resilience made me fall for him even more.
Anyway, April is the CEO's daughter, so please take care of her.
CEO's daughter. Again, Kevin tilted his head. Enough of this conversation. You two are such a pain. Are you satisfied now? Let's go, Kevin. I forcefully grabbed Kevin's hand and left the dinner party.
About what they said earlier.
On our way to the subway station, Kevin stopped walking and started asking. About the CEO's daughter thing? Don't worry about it.
But?
As he was about to say something, I cut him off. I had to lie about my identity. I just wanted you to see only me. I'm sorry I deceived you. I wonder why. Tears started streaming down my face. It was probably because I confessed that I had been deceiving the person I love. He must be disappointed.
I see. We all have things we don't want to talk about. You haven't asked me much about myself either, which is part of why I'm comfortable around you. But there's something I need to tell you too. But I still don't know how to put it into words. Can you wait a bit?
Okay. He probably wants to break up. After seeing the way my dad and Jake behaved, he probably can't continue our relationship. As I headed home with heavy heart, my dad and Jake rushed out to the porch looking pale.
Hey, April, about Kevin.
My dad was sweating profusely, which rarely occurred. He kept wiping it off. Jake also looked serious. Enough. You both have ruined everything. I couldn't help raising my voice. While catching my breath, my dad continued.
Do you know who Kevin really is?
Who he really is? What is he talking about? I know more about it than Dad does. He's just a young man working at factory in a small town. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, I've seen him at work with my own eyes. Or maybe by who he really is, Dad means his background.
The truth is that he's the heir to our competitor.
Don't talk nonsense. He hasn't told me anything like that. Just then, Mom joined in.
He might not even know himself yet. I was surprised when I saw his face. He looked just like my classmate. So I contacted him. And it turned out to be right. His father's company is overseas, so he was left with his grandparents since he was a child. It's kind of sad. They wanted him to come over after graduating from college, but he declined and is now working at an acquaintance's company.
While April was listening to her mom's story with skepticism, her cell phone rang. It was Kevin. Hello. I went back to my room and pressed the call button.
Is now a good time. I really need to talk.
Yay! Kevin was the son of our competitor. But as I had just heard from Mom, he was unhappy about being left with his grandparents since he was young, and had decided not to take over his father's company.
It's not that I was hiding it, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you.
Kevin was crying on the other end of the phone. If Kevin changes his mind and takes over the company, I would end up marrying into our competitor.
I was shocked. When I heard the name of the company, my dad used to mention it a lot. I never thought that the girl I randomly met would be the daughter of my father's business rival.
Kevin is a very serious and straightforward person, so I believe he would do a great job if he were put in charge of the company. In fact, there's a possibility that he could even put our company in a difficult situation.
Were we two people who were never supposed to meet?
That's not true. I vehemently denied it. We might have been business rivals until now, but that's exactly why we should be able to do something together. There's a saying that a rival is the best friend.
I see. My grandpa has been telling me to help out with my dad's company. I got my current job at the factory thanks to my grandpa, but the owner is old and there's no successor, so it seems like it's going to close next year.
So you're going to go overseas?
I was thinking about it, but after meeting you, April, I didn't want to go.
How should I respond to his words? I don't want to ruin his future, but I also don't want him to go.
April, let's get married.
What?
I know it's strange to say this over the phone, but I'll go over there and learn a lot. And when I come back to the US, let's get married.
Why? Even after my dad and Jake said such horrible things to you, weren't you disappointed?
On the contrary, I felt fired up. I even thought that maybe this was God's way of pushing me forward.
As I listened to Kevin, I cried, hunched over. I want to see him. I want to see him right now. We are the daughter and son of our competitors. I don't know how we can change the future, but I believe in the love I felt. We will stand strong and believe in each other. Kevin, I'll be waiting for you. My voice came out raspy.
Thank you. I'll become a man worthy of you and come back.
I nodded over and over again, telling Kevin, let's definitely be happy together.